Hey everyone, climb on board with me, Lewis, the Mitten Pilot. So let's go fly and experience everything the Mitten has to offer.
Hey everybody, want to take this opportunity to show you something that maybe you haven't seen before. This is my airplane opened up for annual inspection. Every year, each of these little airplanes has to be inspected by a certified FAA approved mechanic. It can't be done just by the owner for most general aviation airplanes. There's a few out there that are handmade, homemade. They can inspect their own planes, but for the general populace, you have to have a mechanic come in and do a maintenance review. So they go through all of the things on an airplane and ensure they're in airworthiness condition. Okay, so let's take a look at what opened up. And you'll excuse the mess, but everything's sort of torn apart so that the mechanic can get to it. And there's tools and parts and chairs and all kinds of things all over the place because everything gets moved when we're doing this inspection. So we'll start here with the engine. This is a Continental 0200 100 horsepower. That's it, just 100 horsepower engine. You can see the cylinders there. That's these units here. That's two on this side. There's two on the other. We'll go around and take a look. Obviously, those are the spark plugs. They're aviation spark plugs. They're quite a bit different than your normal auto spark plug. And you can see Continental, of course. Down on this side, on the underside, you're looking at the exhaust and some wiring. And what you can't quite see in this image, but you can see the cables. Those are wires for an extra set of spark plugs. That's right, that's two on every cylinder. Obviously, that's for redundancy, so that if there's any problems, your engine will keep running and keep you safely in the air. That is an oil filter. Again, very similar to what you would expect on an automobile. This is aviation grade. They're dated with a date, of course, and that number 5807, that is the amount of engine time that this engine has been flying, because I need to replace that by regulation every 50 hours of flying time. So at 5857, we'll pull that off and put a new one on. Okay, back here, all those orange wires go to this thingy, if I can get it to focus. Right here, it's called a magneto. You'll notice it has four wires coming out of it. It's kind of hard to see from this angle, but there's four wires. Two go to the left side and two go to the right side. Again, now you're crossing over for, again, redundancy. You want to make sure that everything's always running when it comes to the engine. Down underneath here, you will find an alternator to provide power, just like an alternator in your car. And down here is an oil pan where the oil comes and drains and then is circulated back through the engine. So we'll come up here, we'll ignore the rag. This is the starter. This is a very old school starter. A lot of these were actually made by the auto manufacturers like Delco back in the day for airplane usage. They're almost exactly the same. You can find them laying around looking exactly the same. I'll show how this works on the other side. It's a little easier to see. So we'll come around here. The propeller made by Macaulay, a two-bladed prop. They call this the spinner. That's the pointy bit on the front of your prop and the rest of the prop. There's some air inlets. I hate the name of these orange hoses. They call them scat hoses. Don't know why. I don't remember. But they are air inlets that take air into the various systems. This is an air-cooled engine. That's probably important to know. That's why these fins are on here. The fins help dissipate heat. Two more spark plugs on this side. Two more on that side, which are a little easier to see on this side. And another exhaust on that side. I'm going to show you something kind of interesting. Cylinder numbers are actually, whoops, it's focused on that wire, are actually right next to the cylinders. So that's cylinder 1, cylinder 3, and then of course 2 and 4 were the ones we were just looking at And there's the head covers, Continental. Hidden deep inside that box is a battery. It's 12 volts. I actually have a cable that I installed so I can hook up a charger or a maintainer to make sure that my battery is full capacity. That yellow chipped paint gizmo right there, it's actually a cap for the oil. So just like in your old cars, when you tested the oil, you pull that cap off and out comes a measuring stick, dipstick, and you can check your oil. There's the other magneto, and there's the other side of the starter. You can see this cable here actually goes into the cabin, and when you pull on a lever in there, it pulls this, which pulls that hard and engages the starter, where there's a gear inside that silver box that actually, that motor turns, that electric motor turns the engine and gets it started. There's a lot of other gizmos in here. I won't show you them all. There's a fuel strainer to make sure that water or other contaminants haven't gotten inside, and a fuse for the voltage regulator, which is hiding in here somewhere, and some more scat tubing down below. And all of these little tiny wires, these are a recent addition to my airplane. They feed into these silver wires that come up here and go to, you can see there's they end up on those sensors that are in between the spark plug and the cylinder, which allows me to monitor engine temperatures inside the airplane. Not standard when the plane was built in the 1960s, 1966 to be exact, but there it is. So that's basically the engine. I just glossed over a couple of parts. Some other pieces aren't terribly critical. Oh, there is a terribly critical carburetor down here, just like an old school carburetor. That's that gizmo hiding back in there. You apply the throttle inside, and that allows more fuel into the carburetor to burn with the air that's coming in through those scat tubes. All right, so let's look at some other things, non-engine related. This is the main front landing gear, and that little thing there is a shimmy dampener. It's a basically a shock absorber. That was the word I was looking for. So as the airplane is rolling down the runway and there's tendency from the ground to push and pull the tire left and right, that will dampen those shimmies and keep the airplane going straight. And of course, that's the main strut that compresses and relaxes to provide a soft landing on when you land. Okay, let's look at the other gear real quick. These tires are a little bit bigger, and they have brakes right on the inside there. You can see the brake caliper down there and the hydraulic lines that go up into the rudder pedals. And I'll show you that real quick. It's going to be dark in here. Let's see how much this works. Oh, actually pretty well. So those are on the right hand side of the cabin. This would be for the instructor side or the passenger side when the pilot's flying on the left side. But the pedals are exactly the same. When you push the pedals, normally you use just the bottom part to adjust the rudder. But if you press on the top of the pedals, they work the brakes. So what you can see is they're working the brakes individually. You can control left and right side. When you're going real slow, you can use that for steering. You don't want to do that when you're taking off or landing. That will impact how well your takeoffs and landings are, because if you're using brakes, you're obviously slowing down the plane. Don't want to do that until you're firmly on the ground. Okay, so let's take a look around and just kind of show you how I've readied the airplane for inspection. You can see these holes. Oh, I'm probably getting too close to the mic. You can see these holes where the inspection plates are placed so that the mechanic can go peek up inside. Let's see if I can sneak the camera up in there for a view. We've got more inspection panels. I had to pop this off so that you could get inside, for example, and look at that pulley that controls the elevator. And a cable for the VOR antenna, which I don't actually have anymore. I don't have a VOR, very, very high omnidirectional receiver, VOR. But the cabling and the antenna are still there if I ever want to reconnect it, or more importantly, it's probably easier just to leave everything in place than it is to take it apart. All right, let's see what else we've got on here. I think we've covered pretty much everything. Some more inspection holes, the other side of that pulley. There's a pretty good look at it. And all the cabling that goes all through the fuselage to connect to the controls inside the cabin. The rollers for the flaps, and a GPS antenna. I do have GPS in my plane, and I think that's pretty much everything. Thanks for taking a look. That's my plane in annual form. We'll see you next time. Alright, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, click that like button and make sure that you subscribe so that you can follow along with all of my Mitten Pilot adventures. Thanks for watching. See ya.